morning. Welcome to our service for Sunday, August 4th, 2024. Everyone come on in and find a seat. Just a special greeting to our online family. Thank you for joining us today, and we would love to support your spiritual path. So please reach out to us in person or online. Oneness is the foundational concept of Unity New Thought. Eric Butterworth described it this way: the whole of God's substance is present in its entirety at every point in space and time. Today, let's consider the peaceful flow when we awaken to our inherent unity as we join our new minister, Reverend John Beerman. Today is Reverend John's first Sunday as our senior minister, and we're very grateful and excited. Welcome, Reverend John. We're grateful for the divine order that brought you here, and we look forward to learning and growing with you. Amen. Amen. And just with that, one last time, I would like to thank the Ministerial Search Committee who put so much time and effort. Would you all stand up? Those of you who are here today, stand up and let us applaud you again. Thank you. And if that's not exciting enough, welcome home, Julie. We missed you so much. Now let's stand and join Julie, Curtis, and Jeff Stocky as we sing our welcome song.
1, 2, 3, 4. Love lives in me, love moves through me, love expresses as me. Love lives in me, love moves through me, love expresses as me. Peace lives in me, peace moves through me, peace expresses as me. Peace lives in me, peace moves through me, peace expresses as me. Joy lives in me, joy moves through me, joy expresses as me. Yeah, joy lives in me, joy moves through me, joy expresses as me. Wellness lives through me, wellness moves through me, wellness expresses as me. Wellness lives in me, wellness moves through me, wellness expresses as me. Love lives in me, love moves through me, love expresses as me. Love lives in me, love moves through me, love expresses as me.
Oh, what a great morning. So glad to have you here, John and Charlotte and your family. Just amazing. Please join me as we affirm our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And now let us unite our spirits as we hold this vision for our church. Together, we are an open-hearted spiritual community, powerfully transforming our world by honoring the sacred in all. And we practice this mission together, inspired by our shared spiritual awakening, we offer practical teachings that empower healthy, abundant, and meaningful living. The daily word reading today is inner peace, and the affirmation is, the peace of God is mine to live and mine to share. Peace flourishes in my awareness of the divine presence within, flowing from my spiritual center. Peace calms my emotions, clarifies my thoughts, relaxes my body, and radiates to everyone around me. If peace eludes me, I open myself to anything that may be blocking its flow and invite it to come forward for healing. If I'm holding on to resentment or unforgiveness, I pray for the willingness to forgive. And I affirm divine love through me forgives and releases all bitterness. If I fear and worry seep into my thoughts, I remember God is the only presence and power active in the universe, affirming faith dissolves fear and restores peace. I align my thoughts and feelings with God's indwelling presence to live even more peacefully. And from Romans 14:19, let us then pursue what makes for peace and for mutual upbuilding. And now with our gathering prayer, our own Jen McCown.
Morning. With a good exhale, let's just take this time to go into our own personal stillness. Allow this vibration of the crown chakra to move you easily into your comfortable, quiet space. Go ahead and feel your feet. Notice where you're sitting. Let your tongue relax so that your jawline can be soft. Take another softer, deeper breath. Maybe an exhale through the mouth. Now let us pray. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of mankind. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of mankind. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of mankind, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of man, or the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Alice Bailey wrote this prayer, the Great Invocation, in 1945 after World War II. She wrote this prayer specifically, globally, to bring light and love as an act of service to humanity, to aid the plan of God, to find full expression on earth. And so it is. It is so. It is done. Amen.
Why let the it off before you let yourself get colder. Just look into the eyes, the sweet eyes of a child. You can see that love rise like a river and flow for 1,000 miles. Some peace, love, and happiness. Peace, love, happiness. Peace, love, happiness. Peace, love, happiness. Your heartbeat, know that life's worth living. Feel your feet on the earth, you better love it while it's still here spinning. I got no time to worry about troubles or misgivings. You can let it flow, let yourself go. If you're hating, then you sure ain't living. Give me some peace, love, happiness. Peace, love, happiness. Peace, love, happiness. Peace, love, happiness. Talking, need somebody to listen. A lot of people struggling. If you want to live, you better start giving. Yeah. Oh. Give me some peace, love, happiness. Peace, love, and happiness. Peace, love, happiness. Peace, love, and happiness. Say peace, love, happiness. Peace, love, and happiness. Peace, love, and happiness.
Thank you so much, Julie and Curtis and the band. So glad you're here today on our first official visit with you. Good morning, everyone. We got back a little early from our cabin in Colorado. We've been back a few weeks. So every Sunday morning, I've been waking up early and getting dressed, getting on a shirt and tie. And I say, honey, you got to get up. You got to get up. We got to go. It's my first Sunday. And she'd say, John, it's not your first Sunday. So the next week, this has got to be it. So I got up that morning, got all dressed, got on my coat and tie. It got hot. That's no coat now. She said, John, it's not your first Sunday. So finally this morning, I was like, wow. What a wonderful audience you are. What a wonderful family you are. And I just want to thank you for welcoming Charlotte and I, and my daughter Laura is here this morning, into your family. So it's just really great to be with you. I know we're going to have a great time and hopefully grow some. So, oneness, big topic, big topic. It kind of includes so much in unity and in so many other spiritual paths. Oneness is huge. But it's sort of like, have you ever had one of those water balloons, you know, when you play with them, and did anybody ever, no, you guys never did that, where you went out on a Saturday night and hit people with water balloons? Well, if you get in a swimming pool with a water balloon, they squirt out of your hand. You can't hold them. And that's kind of the topic about oneness. Oneness is an interesting topic. It's hard to pinpoint. It's hard to really tie it down. It has so many facets. And you know why that is? Because you can't conceive of it in your head. It's not something that you can intellectually get your arms wrapped around. Oneness is a topic that you have to go to your heart. You have to go within to your heart to really understand it. I know when I was guest speaking, I talked about oneness one Sunday, and that was more like having a oneness experience, and I know Shane and some others shared. But those generally don't last. So we're kind of changing gears this morning, and we're talking about oneness from a perspective of really incorporating it into your practice, your meditation practice, into your daily life, changing the way you think into thinking rather than separate, we're all separate, thinking that we're all one. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a slow process. Just ask Myrtle Fillmore. Myrtle Fillmore and Charles, her husband, went to, in fact, she was in sort of dire straits. She had been diagnosed with tuberculosis. And at that time, and even still today, you hear a lot of people have a rough time with tuberculosis. And so she had been diagnosed with it, and her doctor said, you only have, a few months to go on and to live. And she was desperate. The medical doctors at that time were entirely different, so they didn't have a lot to rely on as far as medical care. But there was this movement underway, this new thought movement, and this healing movement where people were using scientific healing prayer. So she went, and Charles went to this lecture by E.B. Weeks. And so they're at this lecture, and she's just sitting there, and he's sitting there, and all of a sudden, Dr. Weeks says, you're a child of God. And you don't inherit sickness. You're a child of God. Now, for everybody else in that audience, it may have been okay. With her, something happened. That thought that I'm a child of God and I don't inherit sickness was a seed. It was a seed that entered into her consciousness. And she began to change. And she began to pray. And she began to change in her consciousness. So her healing didn't necessarily come from the prayer, but the prayer changed her consciousness. And so her consciousness then allowed her to heal. And not only that, it allowed her to start inviting people to share this experience. And so now she was having people over to her home, and everything was starting to kind of get juicy. They were starting to roll with this idea. So they thought they'd form this organization called Unity, and they formed a silent unity where they would pray with people, and people would write in and they would pray with them, and people were starting to heal from it. So this change in her consciousness really made a huge, huge impact on Unity and the world. And so once Unity was formed, the Fillmores were like my friend Art. He's in Loveland. He was on the board of directors. He was president of the board of directors at our church in Loveland, Colorado. Today, Art is 90 years old. And he goes to more conferences than I bet anybody here. And he goes and he sits in the front row and he listens. He's very intent on what's going on, and he doesn't leave early. I took him to a national conference, and I would sit through about half of a meeting. I'd have to get up and go. He was right there in the front row listening to every one of those. He and his wife travel all over the world. He's 90 years old. She puts him in a wheelchair when they get to the airport, and they go. And they do this all the time. Well, so here we go. We've got this change in consciousness. And so they're at this World Parliament of Religion, which was in Chicago in 1893. And it was September 11th, 1893, when a Swami Vivekananda came and addressed the audience. Now just imagine being there at this first ever World Parliament of Religions. Not only that, imagine this Hindu gentleman, handsome, striking looking man, young man, and he's part of it. And he kind of stole the show in a way. He didn't steal it, but it was his. He gained a lot of recognition. And I want to read to you a portion of his talk that he gave that day. Does that sound all right? Okay. So what he gets up and says, "It fills my heart with unspeakable joy to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the mother of religions. I thank you in the name of millions and millions of Hindu people in all classes and sects. I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. Now, what does that sound like? It sounds like unity, doesn't it? So the Fillmores are there, and they're listening to all this, and that's kind of where unity began to develop, this idea. And you think about it, it's not that we accept Jewish people into our congregation, or we accept Muslims, or we accept Catholics, or what. It's not that we just accept them. They're part of us. You see, it's a difference. They're part of the unity movement. That's who we are. We are these people coming together. In fact, he goes on to read something from the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Song of God. And he says, as the different streams, having their sources in different paths, which men and women take through different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to thee. All lead to thee. So what is oneness? All lead to thee. All these various paths that are people on. And he told this story about this little frog that lived in a very deep well. And he thought his water well was it. I mean, he thought his water well was the thing. And this other frog came and visited his well from the sea. And they were having this conversation. You know how frogs talk. And the little frog in the water well chased him away and said, you don't know it. You're not from a big sea. This is the biggest sea in the world. Right here, my water well. And so what we find is that Vivekananda was saying, here I am. I'm a Hindu. And I'm in my own little well. And then there's Muslims in their own little well. And there's Catholics in their own little well. And there's Baptists. And all these people in their own little well. And they don't realize that we're all one. You know, they don't see it. They don't understand it. And our intellect, unfortunately, can take us there to thinking we're separate. Our minds convince us that we're separate from our brothers and sisters in the world. So we have to go to our heart. We have to lean into our heart space. And the way we do that is when something comes up and you're going through your day. I don't know about you, but I might see some guy who's obviously a bodybuilder or something. I'm kind of jealous of bodybuilders like Nick. And so you see this person, you go, God, that guy's a bodybuilder. Look at that, those muscles ripped. But we're all, and so you take your thought from your mind into your heart. Just bring your attention when you feel yourself judging others or judging yourself. Just begin to bring your thoughts into your heart space. And it's very subtle, but it works. I've been working on it. So that's one of the things I wanted to tell you earlier. I want to work and learn these things together with you. I want to learn this with you. I don't want to be the one who knows. I want to be the one who learns with you. So I'm learning this too. But it really is working. When a negative thought comes up in my mind about, oh, you first talk, you're probably going to blow it. No, bring it down into your heart space. Bring it down. Bring it down into that heart space. Wow, we're all one. We're all one. And it's not a trick. It's not an illusion. In fact, Maya means illusion. And Hindus will tell you that the things that we're doing, the things we see in life when we're looking through dual eyes, when we're looking from duality, us and them, black and white, right and wrong, all of these things, you know, when we're seeing it through duality, we're not seeing truth. We're seeing Maya. We're seeing an illusion of separation. And I just think that's one of the foundational pieces of this ministry and all sorts of movements in our world is to move past that seeing things separately and begin to work on seeing things as we're one. So if you look now to, let's look at several different sources of commentary on oneness, let's look at the 12-step programs. 12-step programs, they're a huge movement. They have 12-step programs in almost every type of addiction you can think of. And in the 12-step book, Alcoholics Anonymous, it says, when we became alcoholics, crushed by a self-imposed crisis we could no longer postpone or evade, we had to fearlessly face the proposition that God is either everything or she is nothing. She is either everything or she's nothing. You see, the only real separation that we have is in our minds. It's the only, now, and that's simplifying a very complex issue. But in fact, it's the only place that we're we're perceiving things as separate. Because our ego is afraid. Our ego does not want to die. Our ego does not want to understand wholeness or oneness. Our ego wants its own little thing going. You know, I was listening to one of this guru's talk on this website recently, and he said, when the monkey mind starts, give it something to do. Give it a job to do. Give it something to do. Like, tell it you want to, write a book. And then, because he said, the monkey mind loves to be busy. Let the monkey mind get busy, and then it won't bug you as much. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So the only separation is in our mind. Oh, and the thing is, unity teaches us to use positive affirmations. Why? I honestly didn't know. I really didn't. All of a sudden it clicked. Because we're affirming our oneness with God. When we use a positive, like I'm affirming health, I'm affirming forgiveness for myself and forgiving others, I'm affirming wholeness, wellness, I'm affirming, a wonderful experience together. What we're doing is we're affirming our oneness. We're not asking for anything for ourselves necessarily. It's not a selfish prayer. We're just simply affirming the oneness that we are already. So it's just natural. Affirmative prayer works for that reason. And we can continue to use it and affirm that if you're unemployed right now, that a job is coming, a perfect job for you. If you're going through a rough patch in your relationship, a perfect resolution to this is coming. Affirm the truth of your oneness. You may see somebody, an ex-wife or an ex-husband or an ex-friend or an ex-employer, and you kind of have that, Do you ever have that? Okay. All done. So when you do that, just bring that thought down into the heart space. Take a deep breath and relax. And just bring that down into the heart space. And all of a sudden, the person doesn't look so scary anymore. We're all one. We're all one. You know who else has something to say about oneness? Where's Julie? There she is. John Lennon. And this is, I'm not going to read the whole song, but I'm going to read a little of it. Watching the Wheels. People say I'm crazy doing what I'm doing. Well, they give me all kinds of warnings to save me from ruin. When I say that I'm okay, well, they look at me kind of strange. Surely you're not happy now. You no longer play the game. People say I'm lazy, dreaming my life away. Well, they give me all kinds of advice designed to enlighten me. When I tell that I'm doing fine, watching shadows on the wall. Don't you miss the big time, boy? He put it on the man's eyes. He said, now go and wash it off in the pool of Siloam. It's a healing pool. So one of the disciples took the man over and they went down into the pool of Siloam and washed the clay off, and he came out and he could see. It's like, my goodness, it's a miracle. What happened? Jesus restored his oneness with God. You see, Separation. The man was born blind. Separation. He didn't have that connection with God. He came out, he could see. He was now aware. He was in his element of being one. And so I wonder, no, don't take this the wrong way. I'll use myself as an example. Maybe I was born blind. Now, I think at early age, up to 3 or 4, I was one. Like Carly had her new baby here. I mean, that baby is so beautiful. And the baby is one with the mother and the father. But at some point, that baby's going to be 4 or 5 years old and starts learning from people. And then we may, unfortunately, start separating a little bit from God. So you could say, in a sense, that we're all blind in that way. But we can do something about it today. And a lot of times it takes an illness, a tragedy, a divorce, a financial ruin, whatever, to kind of jolt us, and all of a sudden we're like, there's nothing left but to look to God and to oneness for our solution. But you don't have to wait till that happens. You can start today. Start right now in meditation. I personally have extended my meditation time in the morning and the evening. It's not like forever, but maybe for whatever period of time you need to reach that level where you lose the constant thought. So that thought's going, and eventually, if you meditate on your butt, not laying in bed. I tried to get away with that one, doesn't work. And then all of a sudden, then those thoughts start to abate, and then they're gone. And then spend that quality time when those thoughts stop and just be in the presence. And there's oneness there. There is oneness there. There's no separation then between you and spirit and you and your neighbor, you and your friends. There's oneness. So I want to, begin by changing how you see things. In other words, it's like a submarine. What's that movie with Sean Connery, The Hunt for Red October? Okay. So he's the captain of this vessel, this submarine, and they have a periscope, right? The periscope goes up, and he can see that way. He has to turn the periscope that way, this way, to see. But let's let down our periscopes and open our vision to the entire universe. Let's stop looking through a doorway and start looking at everything and allowing everything to soothe you and to bless you and to be a part of you. Even the irritants, people who irritate you, situations that irritate you, eventually we can see those as blessings. Eventually my son Jacob had an incident with his landlord because he had to have some work done in the bathroom that he's renting. And he takes things very methodically and slowly, which is good. And so he had to end up giving the guy a bunch of money to pay for the floor. And also he gave him his notice. And Jacob's concerned about where to live. Well, where he goes to church, this lady has this cottage. He showed Charlotte and I a picture of it. It is gorgeous. It's exactly what he's paying now, fully furnished, includes all utilities. The only thing is he has to go next door to her house, the landlord's house, to do his wash. I mean, so what? So I said, Jacob, you're blessed. You're blessed. So we're all blessed. If we can open up and not look through that periscope anymore and just see all these smiling faces and even see frowns. And, smile back. Even if I try to say hello to people, even if they don't say hello to me, maybe wish them well, say a quick prayer for them. And it works. It works to open up to that oneness. So I want to close with a poem I don't know if it's a poem. I'm not sure what it is. I tell you one thing. Last week, I don't know how many were here. The name of the poem, it's Raining Oneness. Last week it was raining. And during Linda's talk, I thought, wow, this place is going to rise up and float down the hill. It was raining that hard, right? Yeah. So here we go. This is called It's Raining Oneness. To dance in the sunlight is not nearly as delightful as in a rain shower. Open your hearts to the softness of a gentle rain shower, washing away thoughts into stillness. This is our time to be, to see, and to cast away doubts and fears. We give our attention to heart. We embrace her rather than trying to think this world out. Spirit is guiding us home to where we belong, to where we are strong. Put not on your armor. Cast it aside. What is left is what is inside. We are one. We are all one, and together we grow. I say that to you as a spiritual community. We are all one, and together we grow into something quite new, into something quite new. And that's what I want for us, is something quite new. Not that there's anything wrong with the old, but change is constant, and change is always going on, and together have something beautiful here. If you'd like, I do an affirmation with you. Would you like to do that? Okay, here it is. It's pretty short. We are awakening from the illusion of separateness. We are one. Let me say it one more time. We are awakening from the illusion of separateness because we are all one. Can we say that together? We are awakening from the illusion of separateness because we are all one. Breathe that in, if you would, because it's true. That's the truth. The other is an illusion, and it's not a harmful illusion. We have to pay bills. We have to live our lives. We have to go about our business and do things. We have to use our intellect, but we can do it from a different perspective, that we are all one. I feel like it'll make a huge difference in your lives. So right now, Curtis, I think we'll go into some meditation. So if you would, just allow yourself to relax. Maybe get comfortable in your chair if you're not already. I like to recommend that you put both feet on the ground so you're planted on Mother Earth. Let's take a deep breath together. Hold it for a second and then release it. Relax your shoulders and allow your chair to fully support you. Let's take one more breath, breathing in and releasing. We open our eyes to the beauty of this day. We open our eyes to the magnificence of Spirit. Spirit, what flows in and through each of us and all together as one. Spirit that loves us. Spirit that supports us. A Spirit will never turn away from us, no matter what. Always there. So as you open your heart, embrace the person on your right, the person on your left, the person behind you, the person in front of you. See this connection through your mind's eye. We are made in the perfect image of a loving God. And we're one with God. We're one with our friends and neighbors. And we're also one with ourselves. We're one with ourselves. So as we go into the silence, see yourself as fully integrated. Mind, spirit, and body. Fully integrated to one being. One loving being. And I'd like to invite you to spend just a few moments now in the silence, in the perfect peace of stillness. And now as you softly and tenderly allow your attention to come back to this beautiful day and to this sanctuary, we open our eyes to the oneness. We open our eyes to the beauty. And we know that we are free. Free, magnificent creatures. Part of a everlasting energy that started before we were conscious and will continue forever. And so it is. Namaste.
Well, it's time for our offertory affirmation. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I receive. All that I receive.
Day out on the water where the fish just wouldn't bite. I put my pole down and floated around. It was just so quiet, and I could hear my old man saying, "Child, just be still." like this in a bottle or a pill. From a bar stool to that heaven room, Sunday mornings in a church pew, in a deer stand or a hayfield, an interstate back to Nashville, a Chevrolet with the windows down, me and him just riding around sometimes, whether I'm looking for him or not, well, that's where I find God. But sometimes late at night I lay there and listen to the sound of her heart beating, but down the crickets are singing, and I don't know what they're saying, but it sounds like a hymn to me. Well, I ain't too good at praying. Yeah, well, thanks for everything. Oh, from a bar stool to that heaven room, Sunday mornings in a church pew, in a deer stand or a hayfield, an interstate back to Nashville, a Chevrolet with the windows down, me and him just riding around talking. Well, now I do that a lot. Yes, well, I do that a lot. That's where I find God.
With full hearts, let us bless these gifts together. We bless these gifts and their givers with our love and gratitude. Join us next Sunday, August 11th, for Reverend John's talk, Giving and Receiving. Today is Potluck Sunday, so please stay after the service and join us for some good food and an opportunity to get to know each other better. No worries if you didn't bring anything, we always have plenty. And thank you for everyone who donated to the Back to School Fiesta fundraiser for the Barnabas Connection. Thank you. Such a worthwhile charity. Unity of Wimberley members donated $665 to this worthy cause, providing in-need students with school supplies. Thank you, Judy Bradbury and Allison Hanna, for your leadership on this project. Clothing, shoes, and accessory donations are needed for our upcoming tag sale fundraiser in 2 weeks. Please consider asking friends and family for help with thinning out their closets. You can drop off your donations in the old kirtan room at the end of the hallway there. We would love to borrow some garment racks as well, and we can always use some hangers. So if anybody has any of those things handy, we would love the use of them. Learn and grow each week with Unity's Wednesday book study group from 11:30 to 1:30. And look for our weekly midday reflections videos on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook on Thursdays. And kirtan chanting every Sunday morning before service at 10 a.m., now meeting in the room right next to the minister's office. As always, we're collecting crisis breadbasket food donations. You can see up on the screen there what we're collecting on our front foyer bookcase when you bring those in. And you can always send a monetary gift directly to them as well, to the address listed on the screen. Reach out for prayer and care support to the email addresses on the screen if you need prayer requests, interested in ways to get involved, or have care needs. And check out our website event page often for all upcoming classes, groups, and events. A reminder, Jan McGowan will be here to pray with you after the service. And our prayer request box and gratitude jar are on the fireside room buffet If you're visiting today, please consider filling out a blue information card located there on the front foyer table so we can welcome you properly, get you connected, name tag, that kind of thing. And be sure to check out the bookstore for some big sale savings. So, before we sing in our kids, just a reminder, potluck. Everyone, we'd love for you to join us, and Reverend John and Charlotte, we would love to invite you to go first. So, we're going to sing in the kids, but before we do, today is Dylan's last Sunday helping with our YFM kids for the summer. He's headed back to college, and hopefully we will see him back during his Christmas break. Maybe we'll say thank you once they come in. Let's sing in our kids.
You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright.
Dylan, we just want to bless you especially today and hope to see you back at Christmas break. Thank you for serving this group this summer. Now let's bless Dylan and these children. Children, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are. And that brings us to the close of our service. Please join us as we pray our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.